Hello Bunny fans, welcome to another episode of the Bunny Coach podcast. So today let's talk about some common myths that you might hear online, or you might even have said yourself, about bonding. One of the most common ones I hear is, my rabbit hates other rabbits, or my rabbits are unbondable. And I think this one often comes from the confusion that is online about what bonding entails and what it actually looks like and what are good and bad signs. I think bunfluencers or bunny influencers are responsible for a lot of this, and I can understand that they just want to post cute pictures of their bunnies after pictures of the bonding experience and not the aggressive or difficult or fighting part of bonding. But just like everything else on social media, it can give a false impression of how things actually are. And we've all got so used to just accepting what is online without realising how much of it is AI or filters or purely just people showing us what they want to show us. It's like people sharing videos of their holidays and they're showing them sitting beside the pool with a drink in their hand, but you didn't see them sorting out the kids' fight 5 minutes right before that, or getting sunburnt and spending the rest of the holiday indoors, or the argument that they had with their husband. They only show you the bit that they want to show you. So if you watch a lot of bonding stuff online, you might also think the bonding is straightforward or it isn't necessarily that difficult. And it can be an awful shock when you actually see some of the really bad behaviours or the fights that bunnies can have and how vicious they can be. Your cute little fluffy bundle can turn into an absolute tyrant in the bonding pen, and people are often surprised by how vicious fights are between bunnies when they look so cute and innocent the rest of the time. So if your rabbit immediately fights with another rabbit or repeatedly fights with them in the first few sessions, you might think, well, she just hates other rabbits, or these rabbits are unbondable. But here's what's actually going on. Your rabbit could be afraid and she's fighting out of fear. Your rabbit could be dominant and she could be wanting to show the other rabbit that she's the boss. Your rabbit could be fighting back because the other rabbit is sending off signals that they want to be dominant or that they're going to attack your rabbit. In actual fact, these are very common scenarios and doesn't at all mean that your rabbits aren't bondable or that your rabbit hates other rabbits. It's just normal, natural behaviour for territorial animals. You won't see fighting in all rabbit bonds, but it is very, very common for them to fight as soon as they meet, or within the first few sessions, often repeatedly. This does not mean at all that your rabbit cannot bond to the other rabbit, or cannot bond to any rabbit. It just means they're having trouble with communication and establishing their hierarchy. Something I quite often say to my bonding clients is that rabbits sometimes don't remember their baby social skills. So when they're babies and they live in a litter, they know how to groom, they know how to cuddle, they know how to communicate what they want. They know it's not polite to put their face in the other rabbit's butt. They forget these things when they're adults and they've been living alone for some time. And so it can be very, very awkward for them to figure out these kind of things with another rabbit when they have forgotten their social skills. Something I also wonder about as well when people say they've introduced their bunny to other rabbits, or they've introduced their rabbits together and they have fought straight away or been very aggressive, is what were the circumstances surrounding that introduction. For example, were all the rabbits involved in the bond neutered at least 8 weeks because there could have been hormones involved in that scenario? What was the setup like? So if you introduce rabbits and they're not in a neutral setup, they're more likely to fight. Rabbit bonding should always take place in a neutral setup. You don't just lift the bars. I've seen people saying whenever I lift the bars between the bunnies they fight, but that's because it's still their living area and so they're going to be protective of it. It doesn't make it a neutral space just because you lift the bars and they can both be in both spaces. Introducing one rabbit to another space where the other rabbit has been or lives or spends a lot of time or has spent time in the past is not a neutral territory either. It needs to be a completely neutral area to increase your chances of success and decrease the chances of fighting. And it is very common and normal for people to give up after this first session when the rabbits are fighting and think, that's it, they're not bondable, or my rabbit just hates other rabbits. But in actual fact, these are all extremely common scenarios and there are ways around it. There are lots of different things that can be done to help them around that. Most rabbits are bondable with the right partner, and most bonds, even if it doesn't seem like it's with the right partner at the beginning, are possible to make work with the right method, setup and process, even if the rabbits fight at first. Some of the closest, most loving bonds that I've actually seen or worked on have started off very volatile and feisty at the beginning. So please don't feel just because your rabbit goes straight into fight mode when they meet another rabbit that they hate other rabbits or they're unbondable, because the chances are that they're not. So I hope that's given you some hope. And please do drop me a message if you'd like to chat about what's going on with your bunny or bunnies. If you're worried about bunny bonding, whether you haven't started yet and you're anxious about it, which is completely understandable, or you've started and you just don't feel confident that you're reading the behaviours properly or whether the rabbits are making any progress, please do get in touch. There's a link in my show notes to a bonding quiz that you can fill in to tell me exactly what's happening with your bunnies, and I'll send you a personalised email back. Each week I also open a limited amount of spaces for free bonding assessments. These are short 15-minute calls where you can chat through what's happening with your rabbits. This is for you if bonding feels stuck or you have run into issues, you haven't started yet and want to avoid mistakes, you're overwhelmed by conflicting advice online, you're thinking about getting a second or third bunny and wondering if it is a good idea, or you're not sure whether you need support, or if you do, what kind of support would be most helpful for your situation. These are not sales calls. I just know that it can really help to get things off your chest with someone who understands. And if you would like, I can talk you through my available options for you to go away and think about, and then you know where I am if you need me. Absolutely no pressure. I only open a small number of clinic spots each week, so once they're gone, that's it till next week. So grab one quick if you want one. I look forward to chatting bunnies with you. I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for listening to the Bunny Coach podcast. I look forward to chatting to you next time.